One man made a decision, a single decision, and because of it, millions of people died gasping for air in their own beds. This isn't about war. This isn't about famine. This is about something far more terrifying. A mistake so catastrophic that it rewrote human history. And the worst part? We're still making it today. The deadliest pandemic in human history is about to begin, but here's what they don't teach you in history class. It wasn't the virus that killed the most people. It was the lie. Let me take you back. January 1918, Camp Funston, Kansas, a military base housing 56,000 soldiers. Private Albert Gitchell reports to the infirmary. He's got a fever, a headache, a sore throat. The doctor sends him back to the barracks. Just a cold, he says. By noon, over 100 soldiers are sick. By the end of the week, over 500. The virus is spreading, fast, mutating, getting deadlier. But here's where the story gets dark. The U.S. government makes a choice. They're in the middle of World War I. They need troops. They need morale. They need the American public to keep buying war bonds. So they decide to keep it quiet. They pack infected soldiers onto ships. Thousands of men crammed into tight quarters, coughing and sweating and dying. These ships become floating incubators of death. They arrive in Europe. The virus explodes. French troops get it. British troops get it. German troops get it. It spreads through the trenches like wildfire, killing more soldiers than the actual combat. But still, governments stay silent. Britain censors their newspapers. France censors theirs. Germany censors theirs. Russia censors theirs. They're all fighting a war. They can't afford to show weakness. Except for one country. Spain is neutral in World War I. They have a free press. So when the flu starts killing people in Madrid, Spanish newspapers actually report it. The headlines scream about the deadly illness. King Alfonso XIII himself gets infected. The world reads these Spanish newspapers and thinks, oh, the flu must be coming from Spain. That's how it gets its name, the Spanish flu. But Spain isn't the source. They're just the only ones telling the truth. The real mistake is still coming. September 1918. The virus has mutated into something monstrous. This isn't the first wave anymore. This is the second wave, and it's killing people in the most horrific way imaginable. Young, healthy adults in their 20s and 30s are dying within hours. The virus triggers what doctors call a cytokine storm. Your immune system goes into overdrive. It attacks your own body so violently that your lungs fill with fluid. You literally drown from the inside. People go to bed healthy and wake up dead. Doctors are terrified. They've never seen anything like this, and they're begging government officials to take action. Philadelphia, September 1918. Dr. Wilmer Cruson is the director of public health. He receives warnings from physicians across the city. The flu is here. It's spreading. It's killing. They tell him to cancel the Liberty Loan Parade scheduled for September 28th. This parade is supposed to raise money for the war effort. Thousands of people marching through the streets, bands playing, crowds gathering. It's the perfect environment for a virus to spread. Dr. Cruson faces a choice. Listen to the doctors or listen to the politicians. He chooses politics. September 28th, 1918. 200,000 people pack into the streets of Philadelphia, shoulder to shoulder. No masks, no social distancing. Those concepts don't even exist yet. They're singing, cheering, celebrating, and they're spreading death. Within 72 hours, every hospital bed in Philadelphia is full. Nurses are collapsing from exhaustion. Doctors are dying from the virus they're trying to treat. Within 1 week, 4,500 people are dead. Bodies are stacked in morgues. Families are burying their children in mass graves. There aren't enough coffins. There aren't enough grave diggers. When he sees the reports coming from Philadelphia, he doesn't wait. He shuts everything down. Schools close. Theaters close. Churches close. Public gatherings are banned. People are furious. Business owners protest. Politicians call him an alarmist. But Starkloff doesn't care. He's seen the numbers. He knows what's coming. And his decision saves thousands of lives. Here's the data. Philadelphia waited 3 days after the first cases appeared to implement restrictions. Their death rate? Catastrophic. St. Louis acted immediately. Their death rate? Half of Philadelphia's. Same virus, same time period, different decisions, completely different outcomes. The cities that acted fast survived. The cities that prioritized economics over public health watched their citizens die in the streets. But the biggest mistake hasn't even happened yet. By October 1918, the pandemic is raging worldwide. Hospitals are overwhelmed, graveyards are full, and governments finally start taking action. Too late. They close schools, they ban gatherings, they enforce quarantines. The virus starts to slow down, death rates begin to drop. And then they make the fatal error. November 11th, 1918. World War I ends. The armistice is signed. Cities across America and Europe erupt in celebration. Millions of people flood into the streets, hugging, kissing, celebrating the end of the war. Public health officials beg them not to. The pandemic isn't over. The virus is still killing people. But no one listens. The celebrations go ahead. And the third wave begins. This wave kills tens of thousands more. People who survive the trenches of Europe die in their own living rooms. By the time the pandemic finally burns itself out in 1920, the numbers are staggering. 50 million people dead worldwide. Some historians say it's closer to 100 million. That's more than World War I and World War II combined. 1/3 of the entire global population got infected. And here's the part that should terrify you. The virus didn't kill most of these people. The decisions did. The decision to suppress information. The decision to prioritize economics over public health. The decision to celebrate when the danger hadn't passed. Every single one of these mistakes was preventable. But here's what makes this story truly horrifying. We didn't learn. Fast forward to 2020. A new virus emerges, COVID-19, and we watch in real time as governments make the exact same mistakes. Suppressing early warnings, prioritizing economics, downplaying the threat, relaxing restrictions too early. Different virus, same mistakes. More death. In January 2020, doctors in Wuhan were silenced for trying to warn the world, just like in 1918. In March 2020, cities held mass gatherings despite warnings, just like Philadelphia's parade. In summer 2020, countries reopened too early and watched second waves devastate their populations, just like the armistice celebrations. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And the rhyme sounds like bodies hitting the ground. So what's the single mistake that cost millions of lives? It's not the virus. Viruses have existed for billions of years. They'll exist long after we're gone. The mistake is believing that inconvenient truths will go away if we ignore them. The mistake is choosing short-term comfort over long-term survival. The mistake is thinking that economics matters more than human life. The mistake is trusting politicians more than scientists. The mistake is waiting until it's too late. Dr. Wilmer Cruzen, the man who allowed Philadelphia's parade to proceed, watched thousands die because of his decision. He lived with that guilt for the rest of his life. But the real tragedy isn't one man's guilt. It's that his mistake has been repeated by thousands of officials across hundreds of years. And it will happen again. Because we don't learn from history. We just repeat it in higher definition. The Spanish flu killed 50 million people. Not because medicine wasn't advanced enough, but because leaders made the wrong choices at the wrong times. They prioritized propaganda over truth, politics over science, economics over ethics, and people paid with their lives. The lesson is simple. When experts warn you about danger, listen. When scientists tell you to act, act fast. When the choice is between inconvenience and death, choose inconvenience. Every single time. Because the alternative isn't just bad. It's millions of people drowning in their own lungs, gasping for air that won't come, dying alone in hospital beds or on their living room floors. That's the cost of the single mistake. And we're still paying it.